Hello and welcome. My name is Laolu Akonde and you are on to Inside Sources. Here is my take for the week. Tough times don't last, but tough people like Nigerians do. We want to say that Nigeria will surely overcome this series of ongoing hardship, even as insecurity persists, with yet another mass abduction of school children in Kaduna, as well as several incidences of kidnapping in Sokoto and Borno states. We don't put the blame on the present government too much. This is a problem that we have been dealing with for a fairly long time, certainly more than a decade. It is the failure to keep previous promises that got us here as a nation, and that is sad enough. And that is why a decisive leadership approach imbued by courage and forthrightness is what the nation desperately needs now. There must be consequences for every repeated and all the numerous cases of insecurity. There have to be remedies with each recurrence of a security breach. That means we are learning as we go. There have to be new lessons learned. We need our government to assure us that they have a handle on these things. And that is, by the way, the very meaning of renewed hope, which is the theme of the Tinubu administration. We don't really revel in calling out authority every time, but where else do we go? Where else do we run to as a people? The other time the Senate passed a resolution to go and have a sit-down meeting with Mr. President with the service chiefs in attendance to discuss the problem of insecurity. That seems to be an encouraging move, at the very least. But when is that happening? It is so disappointing, we must say, that after that encouraging promise from the Senate, the next thing we saw was that the senators were having to discipline one of their own, Senator Abdul Ningi, for what is clearly an irresponsible behavior on the part of Ningi. So the Senate must quickly get back to the work of the people. That is why they were elected. And if there are some political opponents, on the other hand, who are trying to put more fire behind the scenes on the issue of insecurity in the land or any other act of sabotage, as had been alleged, we hope it is not true, for that would be completely unfortunate. Ultimately, the law enforcement agencies must do their job and deal with such people if at all it is true. Besides, it is important to state today that our religious leaders, especially those who claim to know some of these bandits perpetrating this havoc on us as a nation, including innocent people and children, the clerics have a duty imposed on them by God to do everything to dissuade those bandits. Our clerics don't even need the government to tell them to do that. The role of all religious leaders in the land is to always pray and then act and behave only in ways that advance our national interest and our public interest. All our religious leaders should continue to pray, but they must also speak the truth because they are a moral compass, especially now. Anything short of that will be totally averse to their divine calling. Let me say that again. Our religious leaders must always pray, that's their role, and then they must act and behave in ways that advance our national and our public interests. Finally, we come to Mr. President. Two things plus one are critical regarding these insecurity issues, based on what is out there in the public. Number one, the allegation of collusion. Mr. President, please confront this, and if you have started, continue to confront this. There has to be proper investigation of these things, and then it ought to be dealt with. We don't need collusion. Number two, the security agencies and the relevant government bodies should stop working in silos. This is an embarrassing lack of effective coordination. I think the president himself identified that publicly. It must stop. No one should be working in silos at this point among our security agencies and all relevant government bodies. Mr. President must make it happen. He must ensure that the allegations of collusion are sorted out. He must ensure that security agencies and all relevant government bodies coordinate effectively. it can be done. The third thing is to give the service chiefs a timeline to deliver once their needs have been met. Let all hands be on deck. This security crisis should be seen because it is indeed for us all as a government and the people an existential threat. And we should all rise to the occasion and quell it because we can. And then let's remember again that tough times don't last, but tough people do. Hashtag Nigerians are tough people. Hashtag Nigeria is ours. The people and the government, we are yoked together and we are all stakeholders. And I believe that Nigeria will prevail. And there you have my take for the week. Inside Sources will be right back. Welcome back to Inside Sources. Today I have a very formidable Nigerian that I will describe as one of the surviving titans of Nigerian politics. I'd like to welcome to Inside Sources and the conversation on the future of Nigeria, Chief Ayo Adebanjo. Chief, you are welcome to Inside Sources.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for coming on Inside Sources, Chief. The first question that I would like to put to you is, if you do an assessment where we are today as a country, are we on course? Is our trajectory such that will take us to the greater Nigeria of our dreams? What do you think, sir?
Trajectory course. The people there now, they don't know the trajectory. This is trajectory, you are off the course. This is not what we started for Nigeria. That's what I was explaining to you. When they introduced the Manifesto Constitution under a uniform of government between 1951 and 1960, there was crisis in Parliament. And Smallwood told them, you can't rule a country of diverse language and culture under a unity form of government. There was crisis in Parliament. The colonial officer had to send for the leaders of the party. We went to London. The Shando was then the Secretary of State. And all the leaders of the party in Nigeria then, Ajiko, Awolowo, and Sandana, they were summoned to London. Then they settled all the grievances that was needing conviction. And in 1954, we started a federal constitution. Before then, the leader of the government in every state was known as the leader of government business. But when the constitution was reversed to a federal constitution, the position of the premiership was created. And thereon, we are on until we come to 1960 constitution, which is the component of what we are doing on in the London Constitutional Conference. It was under this constitution that was possible for Chief Awolowo to perform the wonders he did in the Western region. Because under that constitution, the function of each federating unit was defined. They are very autonomous. It was clear that they were complementary to the federal government, not supplementary, not subordinate. And we carried on by living in peace. And then we go going on. The question of revenue allocation was settled to be on derivation. We should now call resource control. And every region was keeping his revenue, sending a percentage to the federal government. Even after oil was found in the London, it was still based on derivation until the military came. And when you talk of the military, people have been fighting shy to what that military is. The military there was dominated by other people. They did not like the agreement that we had in London. So after the coup, they changed all the provisions of the Constitution and gave us this present fraudulent Constitution that is causing trouble in the country. But people will not admit it. That is the truth. And as you go back to how we started, go back to original, you can never have peace in this country, no matter what you do. And that is why I have been appealing to President Tinubu. It was taught in the trenches. It was on the question of federation in 1979 that he became the governor of Lagos State. And when they were going to introduce this constitution, we refused to take part until they sent back to original one. That was why at that time there was a clamor for sovereign national conference. People would not know what led to that. The British said they were going to the barracks in 1999. And we said, well, if you are going to the barracks, go back to the barracks with your constitution, with your baggage, and return us to where you left us. If you are not going to do that, summon another conference for us to agree to live together and how to live together. That was what we call Sovereign National Conference. It was on that ground when they introduced the 1999 Constitution. And I felt in particular refused to take part. It was not on the Absalom appeal to us. We said we must do that change of the Constitution before we go for any election. Absalom said was in a hurry. When you get to anybody, I think you are saying something.
No, go ahead, Chief. I'm listening.
We are very refused to take part in that constitution. When Absalom took over after the death of Abacha, I said we are not going to take part until the constitution was changed. You are not going to change the constitution, send us back to the constitution we had at independence. You appeal to us, Absalom is still alive. You get your similar rule force, and then you can go and do your constitution. We want him there that we really, but he said that we should accept. As a matter of fact, Akode, the regime there didn't want to register the platform under which contested the election.
Alliance for Democracy.
Alliance for Democracy. They didn't want to register us because we didn't qualify for registration. Absalom said, you are going to do another election in Nigeria without the Yoruba people. That was why we are registered. On what they paid on paper, we are not qualified because we insisted that that constitution must be changed. But we came in, and when we came in, it is on record that this is why I disagree with Bola Akode or Shoba. When we are campaigning for them to be governors, it was on the project of federalism, on the question of sovereign national conference. But when Absalom persuaded us to take part in that constitution, we grabbed it because we didn't take part. Non-conformists will have attempted to contest the election and say they the mandate. So we contested that election on protest. And when we should follow this record, Akode,
yes, sir.
What you are hearing from you won't hear it from any other person, except they're going to falsify issue.
Yes, sir.
So, we insisted that that concept will be changed. So when we came in and got the mandate of the people, We won all the elections in the whole Western region. And we told all our governors, including Bola Tinubu, and I could go and check your history. Every state of our assembly at that time, the moment they were in the process, they passed a resolution for a sovereign national conference in each house of assembly.
In the Southwest?
In the Southwest, yes.
Yes, sir.
In the Lagos State of Assembly, Bola Tinubu was there. Foundation and Lagos State Sovereign National Conference. We go to Ogun State, Ashoba was there, the same thing Osun, all over. Go to the record of our assembly at that time. We find all the resolutions there. And when we won that, we told our governors, because when these governors talk now, they say, Baba Adebanjo is too rigid. We told them not to go to Abuja until they change the constitution. We have found our own mandate now. But they chickened out. They are involved with the paraphernalia of office. That is one of the cause of the crisis of an half of the democracy. Those of us who are rigid on what we are agreed upon, we just set off. And they carried on. That is the beginning of the trouble of Nigeria. That's the beginning of the trouble of Central Western region. So those of us who believe that until the truth is go back, if you listen to all my interview time, until you go back to how we started, until you go back on how we agreed upon before independence, on the condition that make us to live together in peace, you will never get peace.
Okay, Chief. Yeah. So I wanted to, follow up on one thing that you said, just so you are able to clarify exactly what you mean. So after the Alliance for Democracy won the 6 states in the Southwest in 1999, we had Governor Tinubu in Lagos, we have Governor Ashoba in Ogun, we have Lamadeshino.
Well, our governor disappointed us.
I wanted you to
said it before.
Yes, I wanted you to explain that, sir. That's what I'm trying to clarify. So you meant that after the 6 governors emerged in 1999, Afenifere asked them not to go to Abuja. Now, what did you mean by that specifically, sir?
It is to cause crisis. And at that time, I tell you, Akode, the Eastern region was followed us. But they were carried there within the paraphernalia of office. If Western region didn't take part in any meeting in Abuja, the government can't say. And at that time, Eastern region will follow on. And we will be bound to come back to the table again. But our governors chickened out. That's why they say
So the plan, the strategy was that if the Southwest governors insisted on a sovereign national conference after they won the election in 1999, your view is that we would have gotten the country to have sat down and develop a new constitution. That's your point, sir.
If we have sat down in West and refuse to go to Abuja, we'll be forced again to come down table.
Interesting.
But they chicken out.
Chicken out. Okay.
They sold out. That's what I tell them.
Yeah.
They disappointed Nigerians and the Yoruba people.
That's very interesting because I think most of them are alive. President
and that is why I say, according to this.
Yes, sir.
That is why I say the wrong done by that time, Bola Tinubu is in a position to right it now.
I get you, sir.
By changing the constitution now to what we wanted it. And it is not a long thing to do. Take the 2014 National Conference, take the file recommendation of the APC, set up a sports committee to reconcile, and we move on. All these programs we are talking about, like just wasting your time. I gave you an instance.
Yes.
You are now talking of security. You are now talking of kidnapping. Well, how can security be maintained when the people look about security in Abuja? They want to take security in Chokoto. They want to take security in Abagana. They want to take security in Akwa Ibom. It is not possible. And all the governments in there have been shouting for state police. Police question is localized. If you don't do that, the people don't know people. And I said earlier, where have you had a federal constitution with the police this in the center? You copied your federalism in America. Have you heard of the Inspector General of Police in America? Even in Great Britain, with a unity form of government, all you have is cosmopolitan police. They know their people. But in Nigeria, no. Because, according to me tell you, the people know it. They are using it to oppress the South. They are all fighting shy of it. Particularly Buhari, they have a hidden agenda for not releasing the police to the state. The Constitution says the governors are chief security officers of the state, but you deprive them of the instrument of military security. And people talk some nonsense to oppose state police. What are they doing? They want to make politics out of it. They say if you give the governors to use the police, they use it against their opponents.
Yeah, if I can follow up, Chief, if we look at the security situation in the country, don't you think, sir, that the security situation in the north is actually much more serious, is worse than in the south? So I'm trying to just follow up on what you said, that the security architecture was designed to against the south, because if you look at the security problems, there are more security problems in the north, sir. Don't you think so, sir?
I know where you are, and I know what you see. I am one of those who built this country. All those of you are talking about that. Many of you were taught that we are making the Constitution. We are telling you what is happening. When we are doing it, you are doing that. If Buhari didn't use it against the South, when the Fulani announcement was invading the South, and the Southwest, they went there, they killed people, they Christmas Eve, and they asked your boss, you hear me, to go there after they killed 800 Christians on Christmas Eve in 2018. These are facts. And the following day they came again. It's on record, you should know. There was no arrest, there was no prosecution, there was nothing. From there they went to Benue, killed about 700 people. And after went to Buhari. I know those who are troubling me. He gave them the list. Buhari said, go and make friends with your people. And in fact, he gave a marching order, which has become a two-day order, which I want to Tinubu not to follow. The government not to go. They have had enough of that action. He gave a marching order again to the Inspector General of Police. 3 months after, the man didn't go. Your record, you remember all this.
Yes, sir.
But the fact that the public were loud, he didn't want to remove the at that time. So we all know all these things when they are there. So those of us who know they can't cover outside the blue. Change this constitution. State police, local government. When the local government or security is localized, they will take care of their security. The question of food shortage will not be there. The people came down the south, they deprived the farmers from going to buy farm. The security will not be taken by. Until that is done, those is basic. You are just wasting your time. I know how much the federal government at that time, how much share you spend on Boko Haram. And that's why I'm appealing to Bola Tinubu. He was not in the position then, but he connived at the oppression. Now that's the position. He's going to say there's no double march for those who kill it. We are tired of double march. We now want double action. And for double action, Akode, put it down. It doesn't need any committee. In 1917, Buhari set up a committee under Air Commander Launi to show those who are behind Boko Haram. What I'm telling you is not what I conjure. Commander Launi was telling us on the air that those who are behind Boko Haram or all these bodies are people in his government. There are people in parliament there. They are part of the ministers. They are Senate and federal. And when Bola Tinubu came into office, I said, stop looking for a committee. Go into the records. And they gave that report to Buhari at that time. Nothing doing. Let him go into the records and you see them. Those who have caused trouble are in his government. And I said that at that time, in the Yoruba language, kòkòrò tó ń jẹ ẹ̀fọ́ ló wà. All these ones you are making, these bandits, where have they got the money to buy all the instruments? And you spend all our money, all our reserve, to fight them, you go and buy new instruments for the army. Where was the report? When Butai was there, you know how much you spend? You people, you live in denial, close your eyes to all these things. I even charged Buhari to be responsible. And I challenged Lai Mohammed at that time to accuse me of saying that Buhari was responsible for this. No reaction. No, that all of the principal officers of the army that are retired said the same thing, that they don't do the same thing. Come along, we went to the extent that they buy the wrong instrument. All these things are there. I'm not saying it. He said it in the air. The presidency didn't reply. They didn't react. They turned the I said they don't know. They didn't hear me. I even challenged the press. The press had refused to bring that point into the front corner up till now because they don't want their paper to be closed. So the television, the media office, they are afraid. If you say it too much, they come and close you down. They are now under a dictatorship.
Yes, sir. I want you to clarify, sir. So which report specifically, just so we get that clear, which report specifically are you referring to? I didn't get it. You said Commodore. I didn't get it clearly. The report.
Commodore Launi. Commodore Launi.
Commodore Launi. Under the Buhari administration, had a report.
He set up the committee. Okay. And he said Buhari sent them up. And they gave them that report. This is not the first time I'm referring to it. I said all of you are trying to turn a deaf ear. I've said it several times. But you refuse to put the reform burner. Don't reply. We even had that come on the line. He did that interview. Are you not afraid of yourself anyway? Say Nigeria is better. Go and get that record again. So if you're not deceiving yourself, go to the truth. Persuade Bola Tinubu to go to the record and fish out those who are behind all these things. Yeah. Don't continue to press on give a marching order. Your marching order doesn't mean anything. You now want marching action. All the time that we're talking about this, what progress have you made? Which arrests have you made? They go and arrest children in the north, in Zamfara. So many children carried away. Before you say Jack, you go to Sokoto. Those who went to Zamfara, they have not arrested one person. Akode, have we got insecurity in this country? We are bandits. We are bandits. Are cashing away our children in broad daylight. When they came in, there's no security to check them. When they are carrying them away, there's no security to tell them. And when the harm has been done, you go there and say, oh, we are sorry, we cover them. You have a government now that is negotiating with criminals. What type of government is that? And yet you are deceiving yourself. Oh, we are doing this, we are doing that. I'm not in that mood at all. Those of you want to be in government, want to be president. Mine is to leave a name behind. Tell the number of Tinubu to change the constitution now so that we can move off.
I agree with you. I mean, Chief, we don't have any disagreement on these matters. But I wanted to ask you.
No, you can't have any disagreement because I'm telling the truth. Yes. Don't think you are pursuing me. You can't have any disagreement. If you have, let people come and dispute what I'm saying. Even from the government. Let them come and dispute. Can you say you have never heard of the commander law in the interview? All of you are living denying the government.
Interesting. Thank you so much for the insight. So, the president now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has arranged for how we can set up a state police system. Do you think...
My dear.
Yes, sir.
This is a liberal approach. What are to set up a state police? State police is not a favor. It is a constitutional provision of a federal constitution. And then you know that.
Yes, sir.
It's not a question of viability or it is part of the constitution. You are not doing them a favor. What committee are you setting now?
No,
what step to implement them? And that is why I call it.
Yes, sir.
When people like me talk of constitution, I don't put it all together. It is because of changing the constitution, all the irregularities will be rectified. Don't deceive yourself. And Kakode, I repeat, Bola Tinubu was in office when OBJ refused to obey the law under the local government. Here, your boss is former the lawyer. He took the federal government to court.
Yes.
Of the Supreme Court, they won. For him to be able to control his local government. Now he's there. Have the courage now to do what is right.
Yeah.
And to leave a name behind. Tinubu should now change all these things which he knew.
By him saying that we are going to have a state police, do you think he's moving in the right direction regarding that matter? Because he has come out openly to say state police will be established.
My dear, I'm not one of those people that are deceiving. Pay this service. Is he doing me any credit? When that is what he agreed upon before he was elected? And don't buy that. Don't buy that from that. That's part of your propaganda.
Okay.
It is part of what is required of you, which you have refused to do. You don't want to say that because you are doing it. Because you are doing what is right. I'm not going to praise you for your doing what is right.
I mean, excellent point, Chief. Excellent point. But I want us to move now to something that you have also, touched. The question of the place and the role of ethnicity in Nigeria's politics. Now, it seems that a lot of what happens in the political scene is determined by the ethnicity factor. Currently, there is a tension in the National Assembly because one senator from the north, Senator Nengi from Bauchi, said that northern senators don't. They are alleging that there is a different budget. There was also previously, some few months back, a lot of reaction when the CBN governor decided to relocate the banking supervision department to Lagos. And then the Minister for Aviation also moved the Federal Airport Administration Authority to Lagos. So I wanted to ask you, as an elder statesman, somebody who has been in this game even before independence, how can we use our ethnic differences as a means of uniting the country rather than a means of dividing the country? What is your counsel, Chief?
Akode, you are well read, you are well informed. Don't play up to the gallery. What are you asking me? That is why I say change this constitution. All that is done under the dictatorial system under which you have been operated. The dictatorial system that is imposed on us by the military. And mind you, Akode, this constitution we ask you to change, is it our constitution? Did we make it? People like this, you educate those who are there, because you are manageable. All because everybody wants to be government, everybody wants to talk politically, to be politically right. All those intelligent people who work with Buhari and the country, if you want the country to move forward, be united to stand firm on the truth. And don't stand firm on the thing that keep you in office.
Chief, you know, I don't have any objection to that. But I wanted to also ask you, what about the problem of corruption in the country generally?
My dear Akode, I am one of those who know about the root. If I want to talk about corruption, the only day we spend there. Change the constitution. This constitution is a corrupt constitution. This constitution is corruption personified. Before your party came into office, you are saying Jonathan is corrupt. It is. Was the government not corrupt than Jonathan? Why did they? You see, you can deceive people. All these politicians after 19, many of them were born after 1966. They were born under the military. You can talk all the jobs for them, not to me.
So if I get you right, Chief, with all due respect, your view is that once we fix the Constitution, we will also fix the problem of corruption.
Certainly. Why did I give you an example? It is the Constitution that allow a lot of these appointments to be the center. That is why those who didn't agree with the government of the day to be there, they changed front in order to be placed in office. All this is broken down under the Constitution. Because many of the agencies in the center are set at the Journal of Fidelity Unit. They will be part of the Fidelity Unit and part of the autonomy. You see, many of the baby, I know you are a lawyer, you should know all this. And the root of the problem is the Constitution. By the time you bring the Constitution to where it ought to be, the power will be in the states. Although they are in the state. So let's go to the root of the Constitution. And don't tell me about punching.
Okay.
Insurance says a vehicle is a write-off. You go and take it to people to pardon it. You can't get it right. And you want to pardon it, a constitution, you don't take party.
So talking about the Constitution, sir, I understand that there is a major move. We know that there is a major move to restore the parliamentary system of government. And
that the what?
That there is a move. I'm saying that there is now a bill that has been introduced in the House of Representatives to bring back parliamentary system of government.
The system you are running now is expensive and corrupt. Very expensive. Not responsible. Parliamentary system is better. But when we are going to sit down again, we rectify all this. All this debate is the question, change this constitution that we all agree to.
And I raised that question specifically because I also believe, Chief, I believe that the parliamentary system is going to work better as we change the constitution. Because
exactly.
Yeah, because
exactly. Don't waste your time about that. That's where I am.
Okay.
Parliamentary system, very much. The Prime Minister is first among equals. The President is a dictator. If he does anything wrong, under a parliament system, he will go to Parliament and they will question him. And if it's against the majority of his party, he can't overrule the vote of confidence in him, and he will go. They change him.
I'm also of the view that the parliamentary system will serve us better going forward. But I wanted to ask you, and you were there in the First Republic. So the military and the crisis that we had in the First Republic, which developed into the coup of 1966, was under a parliamentary system. So what do you think are the trouble spots?
Why you allow this illiteracy to deceive you? Those who believe they are cheated under the new constitution want to change it to what they want. And when they came into power, they let me go to the sea. You don't go. When they came into power, the first thing to do is to centralize the constitution and create the state you are having now. Who created it? It is not enough. You people, you can be telling it to those people who want to go to office. Not those of us who know why it came together. They loaded it and created one local government did not, one state government did not, and used the majority to rule us. And then they now to shift the fraud. Because they are using the fraud of the military government under this constitution. They now say revenue will be divided according to the number of states which they created in their favor. As a result, that is why Tinubu must be careful if he does not change the constitution now. Because I will accuse him of allowing the government to be cheating the South, where we contribute so much in the Lagos and they give us the list. They not contribute the list. This is how they change the constitution. They don't go into the meetings. That's why I say change the constitution. And all the complaints will be over.
Thank you so much, Chief. I just want to make it a point to let you know that we support a people's constitution all the way. And like you said, it is in our best interest as a nation to have a true people-oriented constitution. And I agree with you entirely, Chief. Thank you so much for your time. I will ask you just one last question if you choose to respond. Please, sir, what is happening in Afenifere? What is happening currently?
There's no division in Afenifere. If there are people who have I don't want to say anything that to say. It's a diversion to bring in what we are doing is you tell us what is done in conformity with the Afenifere or the action group. That's the question. If anybody has taken for one reason, and Akode,
yes, sir.
You privately ask yourself, this division they are talking about, when does it begin? Is it after the election or before this election? And you know how it happened? Yes, I don't want to go into that at all. I think that this is a diversion. I'm not looking backward, I'm looking forward. That's why I'm saying, sum total, take the constitution and we iron out everything.
I appreciate your forthrightness, I appreciate your candor and your bluntness, because we do need it as a nation. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm quite impressed by your energy, even at your age. And I pray that you will get more strength. Thank you so much for coming, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, sir. Welcome back to Inside Sources. Today we have a panel discussion around the state of the nation, and I have two important Nigerians who will be discussing with me a few issues around the state of the nation. Right here with me in the studio, I have a policy analyst, a strategist, and the group CEO of Global Investment and Trade Company, Malam Baba Yusuf. Malam, it's good to see you here.
Thank you for having me, Prof. It's good to be here.
Thank you. And virtually, I have a senior colleague of mine, Mr. Bola Wole, a former editor of the Punch newspapers and a newspaper columnist. Mr. Bola Wole, it's good to see you again, sir.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Excellent. So let's start with you, Mr. Bola Wole. What will be your description of the state of the nation as it is today? If you are asked to just give a short comment on the state of the nation, what will you say, very briefly?
I will say it is chaotic on many fronts. On the front of security, the state of the nation is chaotic. We have seen renewed banditry all over the place. On the economic front, the state of the nation is chaotic. We have seen the volatility in the forex market, and we have seen the skyrocketing prices of commodities and services. So I would say that on the political scene, we have seen that the leadership of the country appears to be out of sync with what is happening. It's like the state of the nation is in a state of chaos, and something has to be done to bring order into this system.
Okay, thank you for the opening statement. Let's go right to Madam Baba. You are also a newspaper columnist with The Nation.
That's
what would be your opening? How do you describe the state of the nation as things are today?
Well, the socio-economic situation of the country is getting worse by the day due to of course, one of the reasons is global economic headwinds, but then there are what I call the self-inflicted injuries, which is a takeout of the former administration, and of course, some of the knee-jerk decisions by the current administration, right from May last year to date, which is now snowballing into an issue that is becoming out of control. Fundamentally, Prof, is the issue of insecurity. Taking out our farmers out of the farm for over almost 2 to 3 years, and getting worse also. You also have, because of that, food insecurity. The president last year had to declare the state of emergency on food insecurity, which we are still waiting to see, the outcomes of decisions being taken. The social unrest is an outcome of a result of the impact of the socio-economic malaise, Prof. What remains to be seen is in the next couple of months, precisely 2 months before the rains come in, how government is able to rein in these socio-economic forces. Otherwise, we are going to have worse crisis by Q4 this year.
All right. So we've had an opening comment by our analyst, and I also wanted to say that clearly it's a very difficult time for the country. But I want us to make this conversation somehow of something of a looking forward. So I'm going to ask, and I'm going to start with you, Mr. Bola Wole. So what are the things that has to be done? I mean, to use your words, say that, a lot of things are chaotic. What are the things that needs to be done in the near term, to kind of ease the situation? And then I'll come back to Malam. Mr. Bola Wole.
We should be able to fashion out policies, short-term policies, long-term policies that will address the problems of insecurity, that will address the problems of food shortages, that will address the problems of social unrest, that will give confidence to the people that we are moving in the right direction and that we are in the process of solving the problems. We also have to have a government that talks more with the people, that explains its problems to the people, that tells the people what the situation of things are, not hiding under any guise, and not being diplomatic with the facts on the ground, but speaking the truth and allowing the people to actually understand what is happening, so that the people can have confidence in the government, so that the government can carry the people along.
I had a discussion with Pa Ayo Adebanjo, earlier, and he said to me that, look, we need to fix the Constitution. That is all we need to do. So I want to ask you, I'm going to start with Mr. Bodawole. Do you share the view that at the base of our crisis as a nation, one of the most critical elements is the fact that we don't have the right constitution by some means? Mr. Bodawole.
Yeah, thank you very much. I am a disciple of Alexander Pope. Alexander Pope says, as to forms of government, let fools contest. What is best administered is best. Whether it is a parliamentary system, if it is best administered, you will get the best out of it. If it is presidential system, if it is best administered, you get the best out of it. Even in autocracy, we have benevolent dictators. If it is best administered, we had the example of Singapore. If it is best administered, you will get the best out of it. Our problem is not just the constitution alone. The constitution could be a problem. Everybody had said that, okay, go back to parliamentary system. We were in parliamentary system, and that government was toppled by the military, and they were accused of all manner of crimes. They were called 10%ers.
Yeah,
what made this country look good for nothing?
Sorry to butt in quickly. What about federalism and unitary? Because that actually was more of what Pa Adebanjo was concerned about. What about that? Are you going to make the same Alexander Pope analogy on that?
Yes. Now we are saying that if we change this constitution, which is centrist constitution, which is a military imposed constitution, and then we have another constitution, it could be okay. It could be okay up to a point, but the people who will operate the constitution, we are not going to bring angels to operate whatever constitution that we have. We are going to have Nigerians that will operate this constitution. The kind of people that we have that operate this constitution is going to be the problem. So I am of the opinion that while we are talking about changing the constitution, amending the constitution, or even throwing this constitution, 1999 constitution, overboard and going back to 1970 or 1963 constitution, people that will run this government, this constitution. It is the people that will run this constitution, however good it is. If you have bad people running it, it will turn out bad. If the constitution is bad and you have good people running it, you will make something out of it. So our problem is not just about the laws. We have a lot of laws. We do not have the surface of laws, but the implementation. Like my colleague there have said, it is how policies are implemented. We are very good at coming up with good policies. You give Nigerians their opportunity, they will draft the best constitution in the world. But when it comes to implementation, what do we have? It is implementation that is our problem. Policies are good, but when you have these policies, how do you implement? That's one area where I pity the present government. Yes, they have made volte-face on a number of occasions. They will say this today, and then tomorrow they will change it because of pressure from various angles. What is good for the Southwest may not be good for the Northwest. What is good for the North Central may not be good for the Southeast. So you discover really that those who are saying constitution, well, let us change the constitution. Let us give the constitution that they are asking for, and let us see whether that will solve all solution to all our problems.
Thank you.
I do not think it will. I don't think it will be. The constitution may be faulty. You may have to amend it. That's why constitutions are amended.
Right.
You can't amend it. But Nigerians must also look at the implementation of the people. Right. Nigerians themselves, their orientation, their mentality is very important.
Thank you so much. Quickly as we begin to round up, Madam, what's your take quickly?
I totally agree with Mr. Bodawole. The people issue remains the big issue for Nigeria. Of course, I totally agree that also the constitution review is long overdue. I mean, amendment is long overdue. Apart from these knee-jerk snippets of, a sectional review, we need to overhaul the Constitution to be in line with our current realities as a nation and what we expect the nation to be in the coming years. Within the Constitution, we now imbibe this, which Mr. Bolawale mentioned, the people issue, and ensure that we encrost it also in the Constitution. Like laws are always there. Even currently, the good parts of the Constitution, as it were, how well have they been implemented? But then we should take it beyond that. What are the consequences? I'm a believer that unless there's a consequence management, we will not be able to make progress as a nation. You can have the best constitution, you can have the best president, but if there's no consequence management by the leaders and by the people will believe that failure is an option and failure is also the best way to go, because there is no demarcation and there is no reward for excellence or for corruption, for example. So consequence management is a very important critical factor. For example, the law enforcement agencies and the regulators, if they don't enforce or regulate, what are the consequences and how are they implemented, which goes back to implementation. So we have a people's issue that is key to the constitutional issue, because it is still the same people that will frame the Constitution. Don't forget to land. The people that will reframe or amend the Constitution is the current legislation. There are some of these laudable amendments that we would like to see, which will actually affect them negatively. And I don't believe that they would like to see the light of the day. I'll use this opportunity to call on elites like me and you to be fully engaged, in this process of amendment. Let us not think that it is the 10th Assembly at the national or subnational level that will review our Constitution. It is my responsibility. It is your responsibility. It is our responsibility as a people, so that we can own that Constitution and implement it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bolawale, former editor of The Punch and now newspaper columnist. Thank you for coming on Inside Sources.
It's my pleasure.
And Madam Baba Yusuf, strategist, policy analyst, and also a newspaper columnist. Thank you for your time on Inside Sources. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Prof. Anytime.
All right. And you see him calling me Prof. He's referring to the time that I was a professor for 13 years in the United States. Most people in Nigeria don't know that. That is Inside Sources for today. We will continue to push for the greatness of this country, because all Nigerians, we are stakeholders, those of them in government and those of us out of government. We will not relent until Nigeria becomes a great country. # Nigeria will prevail. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And my name is Laolu Akonde.